Well, the ACLU is now weighing in on the teenagers arrested in the Baltimore riots, saying they should not face discipline at school, despite being charged with burglary, robbery, or assaulting a cop. The city's head of schools says they will face discipline for any acts of violence per school policy, but the public defender says it was all just, quote, childish behavior. And hence continues a trend we have seen pushing to minimize punishments for bad behavior while trying to protect young folks in particular from anything they might find upsetting. Like, for example, a speaker on campus who doesn't happen to see the world as they do. I had the chance to speak to Dr. Phil McGraw about this and much more recently. He is an inspiration in my own life and also happens to be the host and executive producer of TV's #1 daytime talk show, Dr. Phil. He's also the author of the new book, The 2020 Diet, which has been on the New York Times bestseller list for the last 14 weeks. Great to have you here.
I'm glad to be here. Glad to meet you.
It's a pleasure. So I know that you talk a lot and have been for years about empowerment. And I want to ask you about that concept of infantilizing the next generation by suggesting to them they cannot hear things that upset them, something we're hearing more and more about.
Well, you know, I have a real problem with this whole politically correct sort of thing. I have a whole problem with this idea of if somebody has a different viewpoint than you do, then there's something wrong with them. There's something wrong with people that want to hear their point of view. The whole idea is, I grew up thinking, I was born and raised a Southern Baptist in the Bible Belt of the country. And I would read books about Satan, and I would read books about all this stuff. And the clergy would be, oh my God, what are you doing? And I said, look, I want to know the enemy. Are you kidding me? I want to know these guys. And they said, oh no, this will poison your brain. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Well, I can't believe you don't. Why have you not read this? How can you be talking about something you don't know about? Right. And I've never understood that. And it makes absolutely no sense to me.
You tell me, because I look at the college landscape in particular, and it concerns me. We saw it during Ferguson, which obviously was a controversial situation. But what we saw here in New York and a couple of other law schools, right, was law school students said, I don't want to go to class. I can't take any exams because somebody who has nothing to do with what's happening in Ferguson, but I'm watching it and I'm concerned about it, I cannot function in this world. I cannot take my tests. I cannot meet my obligations because I am suffering from upset over what I perceive as an injustice. These are law students who can't function in the face of a perceived injustice.
Yeah, I don't get that. We had a UCLA professor who had a related subject matter on a final exam. And students said, I can't take this exam. I can't take this exam. And I thought, you know what? You need to get in a different profession.
Right?
You need to get in a different profession. You need to become a night watchman somewhere where you don't have to interact with people because you're in the wrong job. If that bothers you, you're in the wrong job. And he apologized and changed the exam. And I thought, wow. Oh, my God. Has it come to that?
Wow. I mean, I've said on the air before, the one thing that comforts me about this is I have 3 young kids, and I feel like, okay, at least my kids will be going up against these kids, and they'll have a competitive advantage. But then I think, oh, wait, the nation's in trouble. We're teaching an entire generation of kids that they don't have empowerment. They can't overcome upset. They can't deal and move on.
Well, and the problem is, here's the deal. We're going to raise a generation where they're going to try and please everybody. You can't please everybody. Somebody is going to have a problem with whatever you do. If you like blue, somebody's going to have a problem that you like blue. If you like red, somebody's going to have a problem with you like red. So, you know what? You're going to make somebody is going to be upset. So you might as well just do what you want to do anyway, because somebody's going to have a problem with it. My attitude, somebody's got a problem with what I do every single day I'm on the air.
Yep.
And I have 2 attitudes about that. Number 1, I am not one of those people that needs to be loved by strangers. And number 2, you've got a remote control.
How can that be, given the profession that you've ultimately chosen for yourself? You need no affirmation?
Well, no, I'm not. Listen, I wish everybody loved me. It'd be great, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it be great if everybody loved you?
Most of them do.
Well, but no, listen, there are people out there that the haters are going to hate and the lovers are going to love. And I'm just not one of those people that if they say, well, I think you handled this wrong. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. But I do it the way I believe in my heart. And I made that decision before I listened to what you had to say. And you've got to just do what you feel is right in the moment.
What's your attitude on taking in negative influence? For example, I've said to many people that I perceive certain online sites and like the comments on sort of the meme blogs, whatever, like taking in bus exhaust. If that's just bad for you, you shouldn't do it. But what do you think? And in particular, social media, Twitter, Facebook, those things can, push you one way or the other.
I don't read that stuff.
Ever?
Well, the only time I read is if I go on like Jimmy Kimmel and they want me to read mean tweets.
That's not the bus exhaust. That's a good laugh.
I know. I read one the other day, somebody said every time they hear my voice, they want to open their veins with a grapefruit spoon. Come on, that's funny. I don't care who you are.